This Week in Gaming with Naomi Kyle.
Hello everyone, I'm Naomi Kyle and welcome back to This Week in Gaming. This week we're catching up on Switch 2 leaks, Battlefield's next game, Space Marine 2's success, and Nintendo holds Palworld to task. We've got all of this week's gaming news. Let's go. The internet was set ablaze last week after unverified images and specs for Nintendo's next console were leaked on Reddit. The Switch 2 leaks, as many are calling it, contain images of the console's circuit board, new Joy-Con, and screenshots of CAD files, which are used during manufacturing. In the images, the console looks very similar to the Switch we know, only now with magnetic Joy-Con, a larger screen, and USB-C ports situated on the top and bottom of the console. Nice. Alongside these images were speculative tech specs suggesting that the Switch 2 could have as much as 12 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of internal storage. To give you some perspective, the Nintendo Switch launched with just 4 gigabytes of RAM and 32 gigabytes of storage, which after 7 years has held the Nintendo Switch back from cashing in on some killer third-party titles. These images and specs are still unproven to be official leaks of the Switch 2, but if a recent statement by Digital Foundry is to be believed, the images are almost certainly real. Still, we may very well not know what the Switch 2 looks like, or if the name sticks until Nintendo announces the Switch's successor before April 2025, which marks the end of this fiscal year. I'm a diehard Nintendo fan, so of course I'm getting one at launch, but I wonder how much will the Switch 2 cost? Will it cost $300 like its predecessor or $700 like the PS5 Pro? Stick around for my interview with Danny Peña, where we will discuss this topic and a few others later on in the show. Battlefield has revealed concept art for the next game in the Battlefield franchise. The art depicts warships and helicopters laying siege on a small coastal town, maybe Greece or Italy? This all confirms that the next game in the Battlefield series will return to a modern-day setting. This return to form may be just what Battlefield needs to get a leg up over its longtime competitor, Call of Duty. Their latest game, Battlefield 2044, wasn't the great success that EA was hoping it would be, and gamers were not particularly happy with the Specialist class, with the most common critique being that it made the game feel more like a hero shooter than the Battlefield of old. Head of Respawn Vince Zampella is excited to return the series back to its roots too. He said in an interview with IGN, "I mean, if you look back to the peak or the pinnacle of Battlefield, it's that Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 era where everything was modern. And I think we have to get back to the core of what Battlefield is and do that amazingly well, and then we'll see where it goes from there." The next Battlefield game doesn't yet have a release date or even a title for that matter. It is safe to assume it will release on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, but we don't know if it will release in time for the Nintendo Switch 2. We'll have to wait and see. The original PlayStation launched way back on December 3rd, 1994, meaning that this December will mark PlayStation's 30th anniversary. And you better believe Sony is pulling out all the stops to capitalize on this watershed moment in video game history. Last week, Sony announced limited edition consoles and controllers featuring the iconic look of the original PlayStation. The hardware receiving the limited edition treatment are the PS5 Slim, the PS5 Pro, PlayStation Portal, the DualSense, and DualSense Edge. The PS5 Pro and PS5 Slim will unfortunately not be eligible for purchase separately and will only be sold as bundles. The Pro bundle will include the PS5 Pro, one DualSense Edge, one DualSense, one charging station, one disk drive cover, one vertical stand, one original PlayStation-style cable connector, 4 PlayStation-shaped cable ties, one sticker, one of 30 PlayStation posters, and one PlayStation paperclip. There's no pricing currently for the PS5 Pro bundle. As for the PS5 Slim bundle, it includes all of the same items with the exception of the DualSense Edge and the charging station, and is speculated to cost $500 US or roughly $675 Canadian at the time of this recording. The 30th anniversary limited edition controllers and consoles hit store shelves on November 21st, and Sony warns they are in highly limited supply. Pre-orders will be available on the PlayStation Direct website starting September 26th. All other participating retailers will begin pre-orders starting October 10th. Stay tuned to next week's episode, where we'll hopefully have even more to share from Sony after their State of Play presentation taking place this week. The latest game in the Warhammer 40k universe is doing numbers. Space Marines 2 launched just 2 weeks ago, and since then, it has quickly become one of the best-selling games in the Warhammer franchise. The first day of the game's release, Space Marines 2 shattered expectations when over 225,000 players downloaded the game on Steam. This major feat has earned Space Marine 2 the 10th biggest launch on Steam for the year of 2024. At the time of this recording, Space Marine 2 sits in 9th place as the most played game on Steam, nestled between games Rust and Call of Duty. Palworld was the first big thing to kick off gaming for 2024. The mix of collectible monsters and survival gameplay proved to be a winning combination for Palworld. But some of the monsters in the game bear an all too similar resemblance to Pokémon, causing fans of the game to fear that the Pokémon company would retaliate and force the shutdown of an otherwise fun and original game. Months went by without any word from either company, and it seemed like Pocket Pair, Palworld's developer, was out of the woods. However, and to the surprise of many, Nintendo and the Pokémon Company have collaborated in the filing of a joint lawsuit against Pocket Pair for the release of Palworld. Nintendo broke the news last week after posting a statement on Twitter. It reads, "This lawsuit seeks an injunction against infringement and compensation for damages on the grounds that Palworld infringes on multiple patent rights. Nintendo will continue to take necessary actions against any infringement of its intellectual property rights, including the Nintendo brand itself, to protect the intellectual properties it has worked hard to establish over the years." This lawsuit from Nintendo and the Pokémon Company comes 8 months after Palworld's launch. The delay in response from the video game giants is speculated to be due to time spent gathering evidence against Pocket Pair. Pocket Pair has since responded to the suit with a statement of their own that reads, "We have received notice of this lawsuit and will begin the appropriate legal proceedings and investigations into the claims of patent infringement. At this moment, we are unaware of the specific patents we are accused of infringing upon, and we have not been notified of such details. It is truly unfortunate that we will be forced to allocate significant time to matters unrelated to game development due to this lawsuit. However, we will do our utmost for our fans and to ensure that indie game developers are not hindered or discouraged from pursuing their creative ideas. We apologize to our fans and supporters for any worry or discomfort that this news has caused." It appears that all parties involved are prepared to do battle in the Japanese court system where the lawsuit was filed. Now let's go over the video games releasing this week.
Games out this week.
On September 23rd, Zoocosis creeps onto PC exclusively. September 24th, Greedfall 2, The Dying World, and the DLC for Crusader Kings 3, Roads to Power, march onto PC. Aura History Untold launches on PC and releases day one on Xbox Game Pass. Beyond Galaxyland and Disney Epic Mickey Rebrushed return to all platforms. Then on September 25th, Iron Meat bursts onto all platforms. On September 26th, Earth Defense Force, A World of Brothers 2 gets localized from Japan and launches on PS4, PS5, and Nintendo Switch. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom enchants the Nintendo Switch. And on September 27th, EA Sports FC 25 scores on all platforms.
Quest complete.
So that's the news for this week. It's now time to chat with our guest, Danny Peña, who joins us to chat about the Nintendo Switch 2 leaks and the battle between Palworld and the Big N.
Select game mode. Multiplayer.
Danny, welcome back to the show.
Hello. Well, thank you for inviting me once again.
Yeah, it's a good time to have you on the show. We've got so much Nintendo news. What do you think of this leak that the Switch 2 images came out completely out of the blue, by the way, and now we get a complete look, at least what we think is an official look, according to Digital Foundry, of the Switch 2. What are your thoughts when you first saw it?
My original thought, I was like, oh, it got to be fake. This can't be real. It can't be real, but you know what? Based on what I've been reading for like the past couple months, it looks like this looks legit. I do want to see more than just having the similar design than the last one. Like, what are the new features that we're going to get to see? You know, graphic wise, also, how online is going to be, because that's one thing about Nintendo. Their online features has always been slacking. It's not the greatest. It's like a typical easy in and out. But I just want to see new things for this system. And also the controllers. Is there anything different than having the same design as the last one?
Yeah, I heard that maybe the speculation is that the Joy-Cons will be magnetic. So that's different. But in terms of the design, it's everything looks the same, compared to the Switch 1. I'm assuming a lot more improvement when it comes to memory, when it comes to, what it can handle in terms of games. Third-party titles, there's a lot missing that could be on the Nintendo Switch that hopefully with more capacity, the Switch 2 can handle. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. But what were your initial hopes for the Switch 2 when you first heard that Nintendo was working on one?
No, just that. Like, I would like to. One of the things that I would love to see is all the games that I purchased on my Switch. How can I transfer to the new console? Is it going to be easy? Is it going to be complicated? Are they removing that completely? I think they're adding it where you can still download it because there's still a lot of people buying these games on the original Switch. So that's one of the things that I would love to see. But I love the idea what you just said about this being magnetic. I think that's really, really cool. And
I think
super easy
that was a needed feature.
Yeah, well, 100%. Yeah, I really like that a lot. Really, really like that. And now, the one thing I did hear, and I think it was sometime last year, and this is, okay, it's just a rumor, but I heard last year during Gamescom, a select few developers got to see a demo of this console because they're trying to bring developers in it so they can start working on games for it. I think we might see a lot of ports for launch, a couple of exclusive games here and there. That's what I think overall. Yeah,
it got me thinking about what does the Nintendo, in your opinion, need to do to win? Because they've pretty much won. I feel like the last console generation, like the Nintendo Switch, sold so much and did really well. What do you think they need to do for this next iteration to also just win again?
Yeah, I think price is very important. It looks like, for example, now with the new PS5 Pro, that's going to be a very expensive console. Only a very select few people are going to buy that, but make it cheaper than a competitor. Like how cheap is it going to be compared to the Xbox and PlayStation. Also, I think it is time to launch a Mario game for this console.
Yeah.
Because usually we might see a port here and there, but we haven't really seen like a brand new Mario game. Like, it reminded me, I think the last time was maybe back Nintendo 64 with Mario 64 when it came out. That was the last time. And also next year is actually the 30th. Is it the 30th or 40th? Is it the 30th? No, actually, the 40th anniversary of Mario Brothers, the release of Mario Brothers from Nintendo. So I think this will be the perfect time to release a new Mario. And also, and this is a rumor again, are we going to get to see a new Mario Kart? Could it be a Mario Kart launch? Because if you think about it, every Mario Kart that has been released since the Wii, since the original Wii, has been selling like crazy. Because look, what Nintendo wants is to get a new audience that loves just simple games, like a game like that, like Mario Kart. Because everybody plays Mario Kart, So it reminds me of like Tetris. When Tetris came out for the original Game Boy, they got a brand new audience that just love to play games and so on. So I think that will be a very big, huge move for Nintendo. Doesn't have to be launch, but maybe the launch window, I think, like that same year, I think that would be cool to have it. It will be a hit.
Yeah, I would really love that as well. But speaking of Nintendo and new titles, this kind of is a good segue, but the Big N is suing Palworld. There was a lot of talk when Palworld came out that people were thinking, oh, this is completely a copy of Pokemon. Is Nintendo going to sue? For 8 months, we didn't hear anything. And all of a sudden, bam, it's been announced that Nintendo is officially suing Palworld for patent infringement, among other things. What were your initial thoughts when you heard that this was actually happening?
I was like, ooh, they're in trouble. But then I go online and I see one of the developers, I think the head of the studio, he just posted an emoji, just a happy face, and didn't say anything else. I think they're not really scared about this thing from Nintendo. I think one thing that I noticed, Nintendo waited for a very long time for them to sue. I think it was because they wanted to see, like, okay, is this game going to be big? Are they going to make a lot of money? Let's see, and we'll see what we're going to do next, and they're just waiting. I think this was like the perfect time for the company. It's going to be a year because it came out sometime.
Started this year, right?
Early this year it came out, the game, Palworld. Yeah, and it became a hit, and it's all over the place, so huge for the company. But we'll see. I don't know. I have to see more of if Nintendo has some really good lawyers, so let's see if they're going to win or not.
Yeah, at least we know Palworld, at least monetarily, hopefully they can handle the hit. That's my hope. Who do you think is in the right, though? Do you have a particular opinion about that?
This is complicated because I don't know. Remember, there's a lot of games that, and I quote, inspired by other games that becomes a hit, and there's like I don't see them as like copying 100%. They probably got the idea from Pokemon, right? But it's not 100% like, oh, we took the whole thing and copy and paste. So I don't know. I'm in between in both because Nintendo also has a right to, So
yeah, we'll see what comes out in whatever the lawsuit, like what paperwork or legal documents come out to see how much of it was actually copied. And also, the big thing that I was hearing was that the main patent for Nintendo that they're fighting on is the Pokeball, like the function of that is patented.
Oh, the Pokeball.
Yeah, like throwing a ball and catching something. Segueing again from our last topic, but we were talking about how Nintendo had looking for a new game to launch the Switch 2 with or within the window. Palworld did it first. So is Nintendo, you think, trying to look at how they can compete with that, or if they want to make maybe a new game that's similar to Palworld?
I think they got the idea. I don't see Pokemon as a launch title. I see that as maybe the first year of the console out. They probably will release it like during the holidays. That makes more sense. Because what I think, and I think that we're probably going to get to see this new console around spring of next year, of 2025. I think that will be like the perfect time to release this and just have maybe exclusive games every month for like the whole year, and maybe have a new Pokemon game maybe at the end of 2025 or the beginning of 2026. That's what I can see. But I think that will be a good idea to maybe change things around with Pokemon, not just keep the same formula. Like I love how Palworld is a lot different. And it's geared more to like the older audience too, because of like the way how you play, So I think that would be a great move for Nintendo if they could, do something like that.
If they could swing it, I feel they unless they've already been in development with something else.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I wanted to touch quickly on an important topic because you're celebrating this month Hispanic Latino Heritage Month, and it's an important month for your community and for folks with that heritage. What is something you're doing to celebrate this month?
Well, I'm doing a lot of interviews, of course, just talking about, that's always happens. But also, I just want people to learn about our culture and like the contributions that we've done, not only in gaming, but just in general, entertainment in general, music, everything, Like I always bring this up to people. I was like, look, a lot of people been playing Mortal Kombat since the 90s, and the two creators are Latinos. Ed Boon is Dominican, from where my parents are from, and John Tobias, he's Mexican. So there's a lot of Latinos that been in the industry now for a very long time, and I'm just trying to like highlight them and show people that we've been here, we've done a lot of things, and we also help to make the industry, grow even more in different ways, So that's the thing that's very, very important to me. Talk about it.
Yeah. Speaking of video games, is there anything that you're playing or a game that perhaps people should have on their radar at this point?
Yeah, I have a couple games I can't talk about yet that I'm playing.
Of course.
But the one that I'm very excited is Dragon Age Velguard. The Velguard.
Yeah. It's coming out sooner than you think, right?
Yeah. Yep. Well, that one is...
I was shocked at the release date when they announced
that one.
it.
Yeah, it's October 31st, I believe.
Yep, Halloween.
Halloween. So, yeah, I'm very excited to play that. I played, I think it was like a 9 to 5 preview event. So we were just playing that like nonstop, different sessions of the games. Yeah. So I'm very excited for that. This game comes out in November. Another one I'm about to mention is a Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we went to...
I saw your videos of the experience, so talk about that quickly.
We actually flew a jet. During the event. So the event took place at the Grand Canyon, and we got to play the game and fly around the Grand Canyon. And then they took us on tour so we could compare how it is driving around, because you could also land in the game and just walk around, take pictures and all that stuff. But also, we flew the jet around the Grand Canyon so we could also compare how it is. Great event, but overall, I just love the game because I had a great time playing Flight Sim 2020 when it came out for console and also for PC. And the reason why I love it is because, you could go anywhere around the world and you actually see the map of the location, and also has live weather. So let's say there's like a huge storm in New York City and you fly to New York City, you will pass through the storm in real time.
Oh, wow.
They can't predict the weather, but it's very close to how it is. And also it detects real flights too around the game. Yeah, not only for multiplayer, but also real flights from, because they get a lot of data from all across the
what a cool
globe.
feature.
Yeah, it's really cool. Really cool. I love it. It's really awesome.
Awesome. Well, keep those on your radar, folks. And thank you so much, Danny. Always such a pleasure having you on the show, and have fun celebrating Hispanic Latino Heritage Month. I'm right there with you. You're awesome, and I love your contribution to this industry. So thanks.
Thank you. And everybody, make sure to check out those games. All right?
Yep.
All right.
Danny Peña is a founder and co-host of Gamertag Radio. You can follow him on Twitter at Godfrey.
Flawless victory! Continue!
And that's This Week in Gaming. I'm your host, Naomi Kyle. I had such an amazing time bringing you the news. Thank you so much for listening, and thanks to my co-writer, Josh Seaman. Don't forget to let me know what you're playing and what you think of these stories by tagging me at Naomi Kyle on social. From all of us here at This Week in Gaming, we wish you a gaming-filled week. See you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
This Week in Gaming is an iHeartRadio Canada podcast. Subscribe to this podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Download the iHeartRadio app for more podcasts just like these.